So yeah, good morning, guys, and thanks for joining this morning. As I said a couple of weeks ago, I was always happy to kind of take the lead on this one and just talk about the personal and business brand comparison, I suppose, in terms of how we can all maybe enhance our personal brand a little better, and maybe some tips and hints and tricks in terms of how we can potentially do that. So when I started just to do a bit of research into this over the last couple of weeks, the first thing I did was just jump into the idea of the brand. So these were a number of the words that I think spring to mind for, well, I'd say probably all of us in terms of what we think when we think about the brand. Obviously, on that personal aspect, the name, the media, the social media accounts that we all have, anything that kind of looks around that brand aspect of whether that's Michael Jordan with his own personal brand, or if that's Amazon or Google, and the likes of the various different big companies out there. So just on that then, the different types of brands, obviously, when we're thinking about the business brand aspect, this is obviously around the identity that you create for your business. So for us as a business, obviously it's travel counselors. Being a franchise owner though, as travel counselors, my name is then under the brand of that. So my business name is therefore Elliott Rouse at Travel Counselors. So that's when I suppose that kind of lead in the topic of me maybe taking this on and using that personal brand aspect that I've had the experience of, in terms of using that towards maybe reaching out to those certain groups of people that we're trying to target. As you can see at the bottom then, as I mentioned, personal brands such as Michael Jordan, there's obviously others that will spring to mind as well, is mainly built around what we would have as a personality, your lifestyle and your interests. Obviously Michael Jordan, he has the shoes, he has the basketballs, he has all the kit, etc. associated to his name, and not least his brand photo is obviously him playing basketball himself. So I think it's important to note though that all brands, depending on even if it is the business brand or even if it is that personal brand, we all have the ability to promote our company, our business, our brand with the personal aspect of it. So there's just a couple of screenshots of obviously my LinkedIn. And the one thing that stands out the most for me, and I've talked about it time and time again, obviously when I did the social media one a few months ago as well, is the engagement reach that you get from that personal content. And I think that's the biggest plug for personal content nowadays. And John touched on it a couple of weeks ago as well, obviously with the Generation Z and stuff like that as well. And the trends at the moment within the social media accounts, and not only social media, but the whole promotion of the marketing is really trying to promote that personal brand and personal aspect of the business to be able to kind of then win business effectively and to inform people more about who you are, what you've done and what your experience is. And so on the top left there, as you can see, that was just a post that I shared about travel counselors for business and us jumping up in the rankings of the travel management company list this year, down due to COVID. Great post, and I was really happy to share that, and something that I'm obviously very proud of as a business to be a part of. It got a little bit of engagement, didn't get too much. It obviously got 5 likes, as you can see there. I then twisted it a little bit a month or so before that, and obviously I put on a personal content there with regards to my degree, where I studied, what I did, the resilience that I've shown throughout the pandemic, being in the travel industry, and ultimately the effect that that has had on me as a business and kind of the way that I can go. And as Johnny knows, that's something that I'm looking to build up on, to be able to share in across my socials, within blog posts, vlogs, and etc. And as you can see, the reach went very, very far. It got 117 likes, my most liked post. It got a lot of comments there and a lot of positivity. So it just goes to show, and I've like I said, I've expressed this numerous times, but that personal content, not only is it going to build yourself as a brand and it will get your reach out there a lot more, it's also going to have that impact on allowing you to explain more about yourself and for people to almost buy into you as a person as opposed to a business. And let's face it, everybody knows that people buy from people, and it's based on what we get to know about those individuals and relationships that we build up on, like I have done with you guys on here as well. So obviously personalization, when we speak about personalization within a branding context, it can take shape in various forms. So I suppose the main thing for all of us as business owners, we all have our landing pages, we all have our web pages, but the personalization on here and where we could all do well, not necessarily better, because I'm sure many of us do it well already. I need to make sure that I do mine a bit better. I've got some bits on there which I'm very happy about, but my web page and being clear about what you're selling and what you're offering, potentially not trying to be too niche, but if you are going to be so niche in terms of maybe targeting a certain avatar or whatever it may be, is obviously then linking into that and using that platform to target those. So I'll put the example on there. If I was to target backpackers, I would make sure that all my content that I'm putting on my webpage is related to the backpacker market, maybe in terms of the way that they speak, the way that they want to see imagery, the blog post, whatever it may be, all of that really kind of tailor into those backpackers within the travel industry, for example. But also just making people aware of the other stuff that you can do. So there might be one part of the business that you really want to make sure you're focusing on and you're trying to promote, but also other things within the business that you may have the ability to kind of lean on as well going forwards. I'm sure with a few people on here, just looking at some of the names on the call today, we all have different toes in different pies, I suppose, with regards to kind of having the ability to sell different things and also just to show our expertise. So that's a big thing as well, just to make sure that we are fully informing people that jump on our web pages that they know exactly what we can do. Show up. This is obviously a very simple thing, but that's just all about being visible. I think more so, certainly for me, that's been imperative over the pandemic, just to be there, be visible, keep people informed. I know I've had a few conversations with people on this call today that asking for advice about kind of how we go forwards. What about our trip that we have planned in April, May, June, whenever it is? Can you give us a little bit of advice? And that's exactly what I'm here to do, and that's what I want to be able to do. So I want to show up, be visible, and that's what we can all do, and be on those social platforms, be on our web pages, update our vlogs regularly. Again, I'm no professional in this, and this is something that I want to ensure that I do and build upon when I'm leaning forwards within my business as well. But just keeping up to date with all the stuff that's going on, just be there and show up to your let's say fan base and clientele. And as I've always said, and Jamie will remember as well, the importance is as well remembering that you're not just pitching to new prospects, but you're also pitching to those that are already your customers already, and they obviously want to see that you're visible in terms of what you're doing and you're active in that way. And obviously for me, that's been very important over the pandemic. As I spoke about, blogs and vlogs, very important and really good way to personalize it. I've started to do a few. I've slacked a little bit recently, but I think hearing somebody speak about their business, you can really get a sense from those vlogs, particularly in terms of what people are looking to do and what the sort of person is that is on the end of that phone line, I suppose, when you pick up the phone to a business owner to be able to have an initial chat about that. So blogs and blogs are really good for really promoting your personalization style to it, and then obviously reaching out to a different client base. Get live. So what do I mean by that? Particularly, that's very good for social media platforms, in that we can get live on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook now. And that's literally getting your phone and going live, and you'll get obviously people streaming into that and really kind of taking on what you're saying. But the power of going live is that you are literally going live so people can hear exactly what you're saying there straight away. Again, that's great for personalization, because then that's when questions and answers then start to come and people learn more about your business. So if you have the opportunity to do that within your business or in different ways through the vlogs or blogs, I think that's really important and something that we can all do to personalize our brand a little bit more. Review and ask questions to clients and customers. So similar to what I was just saying, really, it allows you time when you're going live on these vlogs and blogs to be able to ask questions and get answers back from clients. So I'm sure I've had a conversation with Guy, as many people know, that I booked a trip for Guy, and I've taken a little bit of feedback from Guy as well, based on his review that he kindly gave me, and then also some of the stuff that he's informed me since about the whole experience that he had with me when booking the trip. And that's great, and that's what I like to do with all my clients. I certainly reach out to them after and say, thank you very much for booking. Can I just get a little bit of feedback of your experience of using me as the travel agent? And on the back of that, that's when you can then use your personalization more so for next time. So next time I then book the client to go away on a trip or whatever it is, I can personalize my content more based on what I've found out from that feedback, and then obviously lean that in. And we can all do that in aspects of our own individual businesses. Questions and stories on social. So again, this is more relating to, I'll probably say Instagram, in that we can all pose questions on our Instagram stories. and then on the back of that, get questions brought to us. So there's a filter on there where you can say, ask me a question, anything about this. So recently I put one on my Instagram where there's been a travel announcement. These are the changes. please type your question in here. So I had like 10 questions come through, which I was then able to answer. So people are asking the question, I'm informing them, they're then going to remember me for next time when it comes to potentially booking a holiday or getting some advice about that. I think over the last year, we can all agree Zoom, Meet, call or text, something that I've certainly done with all my clients. Now it's a case of if I get an email or a call through to say, oh, we're interested in a holiday, the first thing is, when can you Zoom? And again, personalization, that's just what adds to the personalization of the brand. And don't be afraid to screenshot those and put them on your socials or put them on your webpage and say, look, this is how I personalize my brand and my business. This is how personal I get on Zoom, or I meet them for a coffee, as we're starting to be able to do so now and getting out of the house a little bit more, and have that conversation with them on a face-to-face or Zoom level. Voice note, beat message. This is something that I'm very passionate about now. Most of the time now, depending on clients, of course, because we're all different in terms of how we want to communicate, but I will leave voice notes to people. Not only does it save me time, but it also allows me to express a little bit more expression, I suppose, when I'm speaking to that person or giving them an update on something. So an example, one of my clients' flights changed yesterday, time-wise. I knew they weren't convenient for a call, so I dropped them a voice note just to let you know there's been a change on your flight. It's now departing half an hour later. I've changed the transfer times to accommodate that. Just wanted to let you know, let me know if you have any questions. And that was all done and all sorted. So yeah, it's just using whatever platform or means that your clients are used to. So why should we personalize our brand? What's it going to enable us to do? Well, it's going to create customer loyalty for some of the reasons that I've just stated, which obviously is going to be important because we all rely on obviously having continuous business come in, and that's usually from the people that we've already sold to because they enjoy the experience that we have created for them. Build credibility, obviously that's down to the trust, and if we can personalize our brand by really reaching out and showing who we are as a person, not only as a business, that's when the credibility will then obviously be enhanced. And to reach our own target market, so our customer avatar. So again, this is where we can really, again, if I take the backpacker example, I could do a vlog about backpacking and my experience of backpacking. That's when I'm really going to get into who I want to be targeting. And that will allow me to do that through the personalization of the brand. Enhance our offering. So at the end of the day, as you saw on my previous slide here, if I put a personal post up there, that's going to enhance my offering because I'm reaching, I think that post, I don't know, got 7,000 hits, or maybe even more than that, 7,000 hits, 117 likes. That's going to enhance my offering in terms of what I can do and then who I can then reach, which leads on to the last point about reaching more people. So not only can we personalize it in terms of saying who we are and what we do, but it's given our potentials, our potential clients, the opportunity to get to know us as a person as well on a more personal level. I listened to a very interesting podcast. You all know that the High Performance podcast is something that I listen to when I'm driving for Tesco's. I listened to Ben Francis the other day. I would very much encourage everybody to have a listen to actually, but I think he's a very, very good example, not only obviously as a young businessman, but as a guy that demonstrates very good personalization in his brand awareness. So yes, the brand is called Gymshark. It doesn't have his name in it, but everything that relates on his social channels really feeds into what he does. So let's start at the top left. So obviously that's at the HQ with his now fiance. So it's just showing that personal aspect of his fiance is very much engaged in the business as well. It's not just him. Next photo along on the right, he's obviously got his own products there. So that's when the brand comes to him meeting. He's not just sat behind the scenes, he's proactively getting involved and he's showing everybody that he cares and all that. If we jump down to the bottom right, you can see that he's in the gym. That's something he's very passionate about. He's wearing, of course, Gymshark gear. And this again just expresses what he's like as a person to be able to then engage his brand. And that's what he was speaking about on the podcast as well. His business has been built around this humility and kind of given that aspect of showing what he's like as a person and then bringing that through to the brand to obviously then enhance it. At the top right there, you can see the warehouse. This is giving people an idea of behind the scenes, how it all works. And strangely listening to him, I then purchased something off Gymshark for my fiance. A really good experience. But I think what led me into that was obviously hearing him speak and then just seeing him across socials as well. Seeing behind the scene footage there. That bottom right image down here as well is actually a video. So it's a video of him walking into HQ and just giving you an idea of behind the scenes and how it all operates. So again, a really good idea and an example of how brand enhancement can then enhance the brand itself as a business, and then obviously lead on to more things to come. So the real key to this obviously is the marketing plan and strategy, and it's something. Sorry, I appreciate that's probably quite small for you guys, but this is a really good roadmap, I suppose, and a diagram to kind of outline the various sort of things that we could all do within our marketing plan and strategy to really enhance our business as a personal aspect, as a brand, and just to reach more people. There's various obviously parts to that strand in terms of social, the strategy, the advertising, the content marketing as well. And it just goes to show that really, if to be able to get this right, we need to put a lot of plan and effort into the research that we do, and then also the marketing that we can then create to align with who we're trying to target. And that's obviously one of the big things to allow us to obviously reach all these, which is what we're all ultimately trying to do in terms of build the customer loyalty, gain the credibility, reach out to the people that we want to try and target, and then ultimately reach more people. So finally, just to kind of summarize really, and to link into something that John said a couple of weeks ago as well, having the personalization and visibility on platforms will allow more conversations to happen. So let's assume that we weren't so personal with our brand and our business, and we were kind of behind the scenes just doing the work on the laptop and nobody really saw our face. We wouldn't really have the authority, or I suppose confidence in many ways, to voice our own opinions. And like I said, it goes back to a couple of weeks ago, that conversation we had about really speaking out and being maybe trusted with our opinions and respected for having an opinion nowadays. I think that's something that building the personalization on a business will then allow us to do in a way that we can be confident in doing that, because we're built into these people, and we'll probably get a lot more engagement back from it, and personal kind of feedback from that as well. So again, it just kind of shows and highlights that if we are very personal with our brand and we can reach more people and we can target more people, we'll then also have the ability to maybe voice our opinions a bit more and be respected for that. And as John has said, the Generation Z, I think we're all a little bit more inclined to have the confidence to really voice these opinions a little bit more, and as you said, be respected for that in that regard. So yeah, I think that's everything. It is indeed. So I hope that was beneficial and interesting to all.